Hello, Assalamu alaikum. In this lecture, we shall discuss mediation analysis. But before we proceed, let's have some background knowledge of what is all this about. Mediation analysis is about the role of third variables between the predictor and the dependent variable. Actually, its title looks very mysterious. However, third variables are something which are experienced by every human being across the journey of life. Every human human activity is affected by third variables in different living and work environments. In our private life as well as in our work life, the role of third variables is always there, and once you understand their roles, it will become a common sense understanding. Researchers have statistically classified third variables into mediators and moderators. It is according to the role played by the third variables that they have been given names of mediators and moderators. For example, when a third variable fully supports or partially supports the X and Y relations, which are cause and effect relations, it is called mediation. Supports, fully supports, or there can be no support at all. When third variable either enhances or inverses or reverses the relationship, cause and effect relationship between X and Y, it is named as moderation, and the variable is moderator. We will discuss moderation in our next video. Today, our focus will be on mediation. The common and daily experiences provide us a number of examples. For example, student as a reader and as a X variable or independent variable learns a subject, any subject. The subject is dependent variable or Y variable is a common experience. Students read the books and they learn about the subject. But this link XY needs support of the availability of relevant books. The number of relevant books will strengthen the relationship between student as an independent variable and his learning process of a particular subject. So, books or availability of books is the third variable which strengthens the relationship between the reader and learning of a subject. Likewise, teacher teaches the students. Teacher is the independent variable, students are the dependent variables who will learn through the process of teaching. So, X and Y variables, but this link needs teacher's professionalism. Teacher teaches the student, however, this teaching depends on the professionalism of the teacher. If the teacher is truly professional, his teaching will impact or affect the student's learning more powerfully than if the professionalism is poor or weak. So again, the third variable is playing as a mediator between the teacher and the learner student. Another example will be a motivated employee X will work hard to perform. Motivated employee is the independent variable or X variable, and the dependent variable or test variable is performance. Motivated employee work hard to perform. But this relationship is dependent on many third variables particularly appreciation by the management. If a motivated employee is working hard to perform well and to make best contribution to the organizational performance, then if he is not appreciated through different rewards or different titles, then this link becomes weaker. However, if there is appreciation, it can either fully support the relationship between the worker, motivated worker, and his performance, or it will partially support this relationship. So the role of third variables is very common in almost every human activity, and today we shall discuss what is the mediation analysis in the social sciences or in the social science research. We will start with mediation analysis, along with saying that we will use Hayes process macro, Model-4, and try to answer the research question, that is the impact of an employee's self-confidence on employee performance is supported by organizational culture, or is the impact of an employee's self-confidence on employee performance supported by organizational culture. Organizational culture is the third variable, self-confidence is the X variable, and employee performance will be used as Y variable or dependent variable. The hypothesis will be organizational culture significantly mediates the relation of self-confidence with employee performance. Now, let's have a definition of mediation analysis or mediation. It is the statistical procedure to compute statistics on the role of third variable in the cause and effect relations of predictor and criterion variable. An employee can make best use of self-confidence in enhancing individual and thus organizational performance only when it is supported by the organizational culture. So that is a kind of common day experience. Now, the model of mediation analysis from statistical point of view is presented like that. Here is the X variable, Y variable, and M variable are mediation variable. There is direct effect of X variable on the dependent variable, and then X affects the dependent variable through the mediator. When the mediator plays full or partial role in affecting the dependent variable by the independent variable. Now, going ahead requires a practical of mediation analysis using Hayes model number 4 to perform the mediation analysis. That is the data matrix we have been using in our previous videos on statistical topics. We will go to analyze, regression, and activate the process model by Andrew F. Hayes. It is very simple, and we just have to hand over the variables in appropriate columns and boxes, and rest of the things will be undertaken by the process macro. So self-confidence is our independent variable, it will go there. Employee performance is the outcome variable or dependent variable or Y variable, it will go there, and then organizational culture will come to the M variables or mediating variables. About options, we will select the effect size models, so Bell test and total effect models. Continue and press enter. It will take a few moments to produce the results regarding the impact of self-confidence on the employee performance mediated by the organizational culture. Here we can see that under the title of matrix, model 4 have been used. Y, our dependent variable, is employee performance, and the independent variable, predictor variable, is self-confidence, and M is the organizational culture. To give the decision about what has occurred and what is the result of the process model, to produce the answer to the questions of mediation by the organizational culture in strengthening the relationship of self-confidence with the employee performance, I have reproduced these tables here in the PowerPoint, and they are more visible. So first we go to the final results. Total direct and indirect effects. As per process model, the total effect of X on Y is equal to 0.5539, which includes the direct effect of X on Y 0.0883 and the indirect effect of X on Y with the help of organizational culture, it is 0.4656. If we sum up these two, 4656 and 0.0883, it becomes 5539. So it is clear from the total direct and indirect effects output from the process model that there is mediation, and the mediation has been full. Why? Because in the indirect effects only organizational culture is there and self-confidence has disappeared. So let's go back. What happened to the outputs related to the relationships between the predictors and the dependent variable as well as organizational culture. For example, from the process model, the first result or first model given as an output is the relationship between self-confidence and organizational culture. We can see that the p-value shows that there is significant relationship. The impact or the R square R2 is 0.4781, showing that because of self-confidence 48% of change has occurred in organizational culture. Further, the T-score is 16.38, which is far greater than the required minimum score of 1.96. So it confirms the significance. P-values of self-confidence, for example, the p-value is 0.0000, which is showing the significance. Further, the lower level of confidence interval and upper level of confidence interval also inform us about how much is the significance of this model. The requirement is that there will not be zero between these lower and upper limits. In this case, there is no zero because both the values are positive and they are on the positive side of the critical values. So there is no zero between these two limits. The beta weight or the coefficient of the self-confidence impact on organizational culture is 0.794, which is also a huge impact. The second model from the process comes with the results of multiple regression of organizational culture and self-confidence on employee performance. The results are significant with R score of 0.4958. However, in the coefficients, we can see that self-confidence has gone insignificant with very weak beta weight or coefficient values. Similarly, the T-score is far less than 1.96, it is 1.4668. The p-value of self-confidence is also greater than required critical value of less than 0.05. At the same time, lower level of confidence interval and upper level of confidence interval are also showing the results as insignificant because there is zero coming between these two extremes or two limits. When there is no zero between these two limits, then the results are significant. But in this case, we can see that the zero is there, so the result is insignificant. Self-confidence is out, or it is not playing dominant role in the process of regression. Rather, it has gone insignificant, and therefore the major change in the dependent variable is coming from organizational culture. The third model, which shows the total effect of self-confidence on employee performance, is also significant with R square value of 0.2799 and coefficient value or beta value of 0.5539. That is the total effect. It is significant at all these three assumptions about the impact. P-value is significant, T-score is higher than the required limit, and likewise both the values are positive, so there is no chance of zero between these two limits. So, to conclude our discussion, we can present the results by putting them along with the mediation model. Direct effect of X and Y is very weak, and we have seen that it is insignificant as well. However, along with the indirect effect of X on Y, that is 4, 6, 5, 6, the total effect then becomes 0.5539, which is far more greater than the direct effect and the indirect effect. So, given these results, we can conclude that the hypothesis regarding the significant mediation role of organizational culture between the self-confidence and employee performance have been substantiated. I hope that this video will provide you basic understanding of two concepts. One is that the third variables are actually referring to our common day experiences, all the activities we perform in our private life as well as work life. It includes the role of third variables. In our next video, we shall explain the moderation process, that how the moderating variables affect the X and Y relationships in our different research projects. So for the time being, it is enough, and see you in next video. Khuda Hafiz.